mean, how much does this victory mean for the West Indies?
I pretty much just outlined it. When you look at it, in 2016, West Indies went to Pakistan and they were capitulated, they were humiliated. They went to England in 2016 and we had a tough time in the first match. In 2018, West Indies had a tough time in India and Bangladesh as it relates to the first game. And so West Indies generally start very slow, they go overseas and then they pick up the rate and they tend to come back in the second and the third game. The good thing is that West Indies, they've already won the first game, and so it's going to mean a lot to them to know that they can start a series now very competitively and try to push to win their first series overseas in a period of time.
Okay,
So it's going to mean a lot to West Indies.
Looking at this game very close up, what are some positives West Indies can take away from different scenarios, the batting, the fielding, and the bowling? What are some positives in each aspect of the game in this match?
I mean, from this game, West Indies can certainly take a lot of positives. The number one positive for me is West Indies' fitness. I think they have really proven to be a tough cookie to break in this test match. I mean, West Indies, they've been in the field on the first day. They've been in the field the second day. Day 3, West Indies batted, but they got bowled out and they were in the field for 10 overs, and day 4 they were in the field for 98 overs. And this morning they had to come back again in the field and try to knock off the final 2 wickets. And so I think it's just shown that because their fitness have improved so much that it has assisted their bowling. So West Indies, they're a lot more consistent with their line and their length, and it's as a result of their fitness. So that's the biggest positive I can take from this series. Another positive I can take is that the consistency as it relates to togetherness. You can see that this team is well led by Jason Holder. You can see the unity in the team. They've been together now for around 4 years. So we see Jermaine Blackwood, Ruston Chase, Jason Holder, Craig Brathwaite, Shane Dowrich. All of these guys, they're very close together, and that's bringing the best out of them. It's always good to have a test team where you have 15 persons in a squad that are really close. They understand each other and they're good friends on and off the field. So I think that's a big positive, and it's helping us when it comes on to working together as a team in all departments. Because you notice, because of unity in the batting, you saw where it wasn't a one-man show. In the first innings, we saw Brathwaite chip in, we saw Dowrich, we saw to some extent Alzari down the order. And in the second innings, we see John Campbell take it home. We see Jason Holder finishing the game. We see Jermaine Blackwood chipping in. We see Ruston Chase. And so it's a total team effort. Those are the two positives for me, the togetherness and the fitness.
All right, so we saw West Indies almost led England back in the game. Any areas of concern West Indies needs to address for the remaining tests?
Well, definitely there's always a fine margin in test cricket, and in test cricket, in order to win, you need to be able to repeat for long periods of time. And so you can always undo all the good work that you put in with one bad piece of fielding, with one moment of ordinary cricket. And so that's for me where West Indies can improve on, and just being more clinical. We saw Kemar Roach put down I wouldn't say a sitter, but dropping Ben Stokes when England were around 87 for 5. I mean, that could have been very costly in the game. Thank God it was not in the case for West Indies, but those are the areas that West Indies need to work on. We saw Ruston Chase getting to 47, and he played brilliantly, totally deserved a half century, but just a little lapse in concentration right there. So I think West Indies can work on their concentration. We saw Blackwood could have gotten a century today, and he didn't take the best opportunity. So I think West Indies, certainly they need to just work on being more clinical, but they're definitely going in the right direction. We need to work on just being more clinical and more brutal towards the opposition, but they're certainly looking really good.
Okay, thank you very much. I see where the probably like how their physical fitness has improved. They probably need to work on their mental fitness now.
Exactly. But I think the captain Jason Holder, that he's mentally tough. We can see that today West Indies were behind the A-ball, and the captain, Jay Snowler, he really just spoke to his troops and said, listen, I back you guys. We can do this and we are going to win. So I think that they're getting mentally stronger over this period of time. And so we can only expect greater things from West Indies.
That is so true. So we're playing in England. So naturally England poses to start as big favourites. So in this test match, what went wrong for the hosts? Why did they lose?
Alright, looking at the English team, I thought that England, they played pretty good cricket in patches, but the truth of it is that they didn't perform as well with the bat. That's an area of concern. I still think that England, there are a lot of issues they need to sort out in terms of their batting order, in the sense that many persons will speculate about Joe Denley batting at 3. There are still issues around persons saying Jos Buttler should not be in the team. At the end of the day, I think it's pretty much the entire English fan base behind this team. There is some level of division in the team, in the sense that some persons are rooting to see Johnny Bairstow in the team. Some persons are rooting to see Jos Buttler in this team. Some person wants Ben Foakes to be there. And I think that is, you never like that as a player when you're under so much pressure to know that you don't have the trust and the belief of the entire English support behind of you. And so I think that England need to just say, listen, no matter what, this is the 15 that we're going to select. This is our squad, and we're going to move forward with this 15. So I think that's the issue. There isn't clarity of roles because England tend to change their team quite often. So you might see Bairstow playing in the next tour, maybe in Ireland or Pakistan. You might see Bairstow in for Buttler, or you maybe see Ben Foakes in the team. You might see Joe Denley out and Zach Crawley batting at 3 when Root returns. And so England, they really need to look at stability, and they need to just say these are our 15 that we're going to back for the next couple of series and see how it goes.
Looking at this 11, I saw one big omission, the omission of Stuart Broad. And the last time Stuart Broad missed an home test was in 2012. So did you agree with England selection of missing out Stuart Broad in a home test match? Do you agree with that?
I mean, it's a tough decision to make. I think Stuart Broad was left out on the premise that Jofra Archer has been splendid. No one can argue that. He's been really splendid. And Mark Wood went to South Africa and he was fantastic. And so if you're looking from that basis, then it's a matter of matchup between James Anderson and Stuart Broad. And if it's a case that you're going to be choosing between Anderson and Broad, I think Anderson will get the nod over Broad any day of the week. And so I don't think England erred in their decision. I actually like the fact that they actually went and played Markwood and Archer ahead of Broad. I don't think their execution on the surface at all times was brilliant, but I still think that England chose the best seam attack for this West Indies team. So yeah, I agree that Broad should have been omitted.
The reality is West Indies played James Anderson very well. I mean, James Anderson bowled brilliant lines and length, and I see where West Indies were very resolute in their defense. West Indies spent 30 days in Manchester, where they played their first 2 intra-squad warm-up games. How do you think this will influence West Indies' chance in the next 2 games? And what 11 would you play for West Indies to start with? Would you make any changes? Because they always say you don't fix what is broken. So is there any changes you'll make, or would you go with the same 11 for the second test?
Alright, so that's a good point that you made right there. You said that West Indies, they've been in England for 30 days and they've been quarantined in Manchester. For the mere fact that they've been quarantined in Manchester, they should be used to the surface down there. We saw in the 2 practice games that it wasn't high scoring, and so I'm figuring from those 2 practice games, we're not going to see a big score in the second or the third game either. I speculate the test match will be finished inside 4 days, barring rain. And so if it's going to finish within 4 days, I don't think West Indies should change their attack. I think they should stick with the same base quartet. Alzarri has been brilliant in Manchester. I think he's knocked off the top order with Brathwaite, Hope, John Campbell. He's picked up 3 wickets and 2 wickets apiece in both of the practice games. Shannon Gabriel has gotten a 4-for and a 3-for against his teammates in the intra-squad game. So Alzarri and Gabriel has looked really well in Manchester. Kemar Roach has been moving the ball down there, and Jason Ola is captain fantastic. And so I don't think West Indies should change their team. The only concern I would have is for the top order. I'd love to see them be a lot more consistent. And as a result of this, I am just hoping that West Indies will be more consistent, their top 6, that is. And I think that John Campbell, if he's fit, he should start as well. But if he's injured, because as we know he got hit on his toe in the game earlier today, I think that if he's injured, they should definitely look at Joshua Da Silva opening the batting. I think he's in fantastic form. He got a century in the intra-squad game, and he got a half century as well. He was unbeaten in the final warm-up game. And so Joshua Da Silva, I think, he's the next possible opener if John Campbell is playing. But otherwise, I would make any change.